What's up guys, Asian here again with another PTS video, and today we're taking a look at another new set. This is going to be one of the Monster Helm sets that's being released in Harrowstorm. Kjalnar's, I'm blanking on the second half of the name, Kjalnar's Nightmare. So this is a Magicka DPS oriented Monster Helm set, which you can get from, let's double check real quick so I don't mess this up. It comes from Unhallowed Grave, so this is the same dungeon where you're going to get Aegis Caller. So if you're farming for Aegis Caller, assuming it remains as strong as it is now when it goes live, you might as well do it on vet, so that way you can get Kjalnar's Nightmare. Why should you get Kjalnar's Nightmare? Well, it's a little bit complicated. It's a decent set for some classes, and for other classes you're better off running the standard 2-piece crit. So that's two different Monster Helm sets, each with 1-piece spell crit. So that'd be something like 1-piece Zaan with 1-piece Slimecraw. And so, why is this? Let's go ahead and break down Kjalnar's Nightmare. So the 1-piece is not too exciting, it just adds spell damage. Plenty of sets already add spell damage. The 2-piece, dealing damage with a light attack, puts a stack of bone on your enemy for 5 seconds. Yes, the debuff is actually called bone. You can check on combat metrics on the PTS. You can only apply 1 stack every 1 second. At 5 stacks, an undodgeable skeletal hand attacks your enemy after 1 second, knocking them into the air and stunning them for 3 seconds, or dealing, in this case, 22,330 magic damage if they cannot be stunned. Enemy that has reached 5 stacks cannot gain bone stacks for 3 seconds. This effectively gives it an 8-second cooldown, 5 seconds to generate the stacks, 3 seconds where you cannot gain any more stacks on whatever it is that you happen to hit. So basically, with this 8-second cooldown, it seems to be fairly strong. It's a very strong burst, 22,230 magic damage on a Magicka Warden, which I am on right now, so we do get a little bit of a bonus to magic damage. So why am I saying that it's only good on certain classes and not so good on other classes? Well, part of it is the fact that it deals magic damage. Magicka Wardens right now do get the bonus to magic damage from their one of their skill passives here under the Winter's Embrace line, Piercing Cold, so we get 10% additional magic damage, so that does boost Kjalnar's Nightmare's attack, damage I should say. Other classes don't have this, so on a Magicka Warden at the very least, at least based on my parses here, this is the Kjalnar's Nightmare parse. You can see here did about just over 3k DPS, 84.1, versus this, which was with 2 1-piece crit sets. So I had 1-piece Zaan, 1-piece Slimecraw, where I only did 81.3k. So quite a bit of a difference here, and part of it is because I think Kjalnar's Nightmare is getting buffed by our 10% additional magic damage bonus from Piercing Cold. Now, for other classes, it gets a little bit complicated. So let's head over to the Necromancer. So one of the things with Necromancers is that they do have another Monster Helm set that they can use, and that's going to be Ilambris. Same thing with magsorcs, especially in this coming patch, because Lightning Flood might actually be viable to use now that it doesn't cost quite as much magicka. But Necromancers and magsorcs arguably can use Ilambris as a ranged Monster Helm set instead of 2 1-piece crit sets. So here, this is with 2 1-piece crit sets. So again, 1-piece Zaan, 1-piece Slimecraw, we pulled 77.7k. Over here, this is with Ilambris. So combined, they pulled I believe this is just under 2300 DPS for 78.7k. And then with Kjalnar's Nightmare, 2.8k, so a little bit less compared to Magicka Warden, as we can expect, because Magicka Wardens do get that bonus to their magic damage, 77.6k instead. So here, with Necromancers at the very least, everything is very, very close together. So even though Ilambris is hitting a little bit higher, it's well within margin of error. You're only talking about maybe a 1k difference at most, so it's really hard to say which one's going to be better. 2 1-piece crit sets, Ilambris, or Kjalnar's Nightmare on a Necromancer. And the same could arguably be said for Magicka Sorcerers, just because Magicka Sorcerers may also use Ilambris if they are running Lightning Flood, like I expect they're going to be able to do when Harrowstorm goes live. And then we also have the other remaining classes, the other Magicka classes. So these would be the Nightblades. So it's going to be the one that I'm going to be using as our example here. So this is with Zaan. So I pulled 80.1k. Next parse here, this one is, I believe this is 2 one-piece crit sets. Yes, this is 2 one-piece crit, so 1-piece Zaan, 1-piece Slimecraw. So that Zaan parse, actually that Zaan parse might not be the right one. Double check really quick. Yeah, this is the correct Zaan parse. I accidentally saved 2 of them. This is the highest Zaan parse I got, so 82.4k, compared to this is the 1-piece crit, so just over 80k. And then this one is Kjalnar's Nightmare. Yep, Kjalnar's Nightmare right here. So 78.5k here. So we can see here that the story with Kjalnar's is definitely complicated. So here we're seeing about a 1.5k difference between running Kjalnar on a Magicka Nightblade compared to running 2 one-piece crit sets. So we pulled 80k here, and then we pulled 78.5k here. Now this could be just because of crit RNG, which is certainly possible because we did get quite a bit of crits here, but I did not standardize for crit chance here, just because Kjalnar's is a proc set, so it can't crit at all. But with so few hits, it is arguable that the 2 one-piece crits might have some crit RNG involved here. So Impale, for example, I got 95% crits, versus here where I got 57% crits with the Kjalnar's parse, so that could play a little bit of a factor here. So not exactly clear-cut just yet. I will have to do a little bit more testing to kind of see how Kjalnar's plays out for other classes outside of Necromancers and Wardens, and arguably Sorcerers as well. So in general, I would say Kjalnar's is definitely one potential option for Magicka DPS who want to run a full Monster Helm set while still playing at ranged. Obviously, when you're in melee range, Zaan is still going to be the strongest Monster Helm set. Grothdarr if you need the cleave, but if you're playing at ranged, your options might have expanded a little bit here. So Kjalnar's is definitely viable. I would not necessarily say optimal just yet. We still need to do a little bit of testing, get a little bit of averages, trying to figure out, standardize all the parses across all the different crit RNGs in order to get a full picture. But I would argue that Kjalnar's might be worth farming for if you want a full Monster Helm set. 2 one-piece crits is still a very strong combination, and I'd argue you can go with either of them. They look like within margin of error once we standardize for crit and do a couple more parses to get a better running average. But it still remains to be seen. They might end up adjusting Kjalnar's Nightmare in a future PTS patch, and if they do adjust the damage portion of Kjalnar's, then we'll have to re-examine how this stands compared to other ranged Monster Helm options. But that concludes this video. Let me know down in the comment section below if there's anything else you would like me to test on the PTS. As a reminder, balance changes will not be coming out until the 3rd week of the PTS. That is patch 5.3.2. 5.3.1 don't really see that many balance changes, I should say, in that 2nd week of the PTS. So anticipate more balance changes coming on the 3rd week if they make any big balance changes. Again, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next dungeon.